Hello, fourth grade. Today is our big day. I'm so excited. We have been working so hard on our preparation with this CAD project. We have learned about what CAD is. We took a flashback and looked at some Greek architecture, and we actually flashed forward and took a look at some modern day Greek architecture, and we're able to identify those Greek columns. We looked at the Doric, we looked at the Ionic, and we looked at the Corinthian. Hopefully we're able to identify some of those columns in modern day architecture when we looked at the White House, we looked at even Elvis's house, and some of the other buildings like the museums here in Chicago. For today is our first day really truly experimenting with TinkerCAD. What we're going to do is we're basically just going to have a play day with TinkerCAD. What I have for you is a screencast that is going to teach you a variety of tips and tools. It's going to teach you even just basics, how to bring the shapes in, how to manipulate the shapes, how to pull them, how to stretch them, how to even stack them. We're going to talk about how to change colors, how to delete shapes, how to rotate shapes, and just different things like that. So what I did was I made you a checklist, and what I want you to do is just to spend the class time and maybe even some time during the week manipulating these shapes. I don't expect you to necessarily make anything at this point. If you want to make something, if you want to start working on your column, you can. If you want to try creating a world, if you want to create a structure, or if you want to just make something abstract, that's fine. But I want you to go through the checklist that I've created for you. It's in Seesaw. I'll show it to you in a couple minutes. But what I want you to do is to go through that checklist and try those different things. But go ahead, let's watch the screencast. Let's learn how to manipulate those shapes, change those colors, and the other things that I just talked about. And go ahead and just play. Have fun today, trying out the different things. Before we do that though, and before we watch the screencast, I have a really cool Minecraft video for you that I want you to check out. It talks about how an artist actually took his Minecraft build and took it to a 3D printer, kind of taking Minecraft and bring it into some real life CAD experience. So go ahead, check that out, and then watch the screencast, and then happy playing today. Enjoy, and we'll see you guys next week for working on building that column that you guys created on paper. All right, have fun.
Hi guys, in today's video I will show you how to make and print a model from the Minecraft game. At first, we need to create a new or edit an existing model. If you have already experienced Minecraft, you know that objects are created by placing individual blocks. You can choose colors or materials of blocks in the Minecraft inventory. However, the choice doesn't matter in our case of 3D printing, but if you want to print in colors, I recommend using different in-game colors for better clarity. Your objects shouldn't have air bubbles. For example, when you are going to print a house, its inside should be filled with full blocks. Or if you want to print your creation with a pad, make sure that there is no empty space in it. In Minecraft you can find caves under the surface, you should fill them too. You don't have to fill blanks block by block, you can use MC Edit to do that at once. The best way to uncover problems and empty spaces is exporting your object using MC Edit to so-called super flat world that you can easily create in the game. I decided to print a cabin in the middle of the forest. I let the trees grow separately in the game and then exported them using Mindways to STL file. Make sure that the sizes and the scales of your objects matches or are similar if you are going to make your model from multiple parts. Then I printed the trees with a support material and color change. If you want to know how to 3D print in colors, you can watch about it in our older video. After that, I printed a pad that was tall enough to properly show the color changes. Then I printed a cabin, which I have scaled to a bigger size to make it more visible. I didn't want the model to look empty, so I also printed some Minecraft characters. You can find plenty of them on Thingiverse. At last, I painted the details on the pad and glued all the parts together. You can create pretty much everything in Minecraft, although every model will be kind of boxy. The game suits simpler creations. And what have you printed from Minecraft? Show us in the comments, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you wouldn't miss upcoming videos.
Hello students, today we are going to go over some very basic tips and tricks in TinkerCAD. If you are looking at your home screen, you are going to click on Create New Design. Once clicked on Create New Design, it is going to take you into the workspace, okay? And once in the workspace, you're going to see all of your basic shapes over here on the right-hand side. For today, we're going to stick with the really simple shapes, the shapes that we have been practicing with on paper. When I go to click on a shape, the first thing I want you to do is just to practice moving the shape into the work plane. So I'm going to grab one of those boxes and I'm going to bring it over here onto my work plane. Once I bring it onto the work plane, you're going to notice that there are 4 black boxes and a black triangle that are up above on top. Those are key to getting your shape to move and to stretch and to pull. So the next thing I want you to do is to try to stretch your shape. Can you make it bigger? Can you make it smaller? Can you make it flatter? By grabbing those black dots, we are able to pull and to change the shape, the height, the width of the shape as you're going through. So I want you to practice pulling on those black squares that you see there. Now, the one thing that I want you to look at is that black triangle that you saw in the very beginning, okay? That black triangle is really important because if I grab another shape, say I grab a cylinder, and I'm going to bring the cylinder over here into my work plane. Notice that I don't see the cylinder. It has disappeared inside of my red box. So that black triangle that's located on the top is what's going to be really important. That's what you're going to use to stack those two shapes together. So what I do is I grab that black triangle and I'm going to pull it up. By pulling it up, it brings my cylinder up on top of my red box. Now, here's the tricky part. It looks like my cylinder is on top of my box. But if you look over here where it says top and front, when I start to rotate, look at this. Oh my goodness. My cylinder is actually hovering over my box. Okay, so it's really important that you play with this box here over on the left, this back left top piece, to see spatially where your cylinder is in relation to your box. Now, if I click on it and I grab that black triangle again, I can bring, oops, if you notice, okay, this is really important. Do you see how I'm moving everything right now? This is a really important mistake that I got going on here. Notice that everything is highlighted in blue. If you look around my red box and you look around my cylinder, you'll notice that everything is highlighted in blue, which means everything's going to move. I don't want everything to move right now. So I'm going to click off of it and I'm only going to click on my cylinder. If I click on my cylinder and then I grab that triangle, look at, I can bring my cylinder down now and set it on top of my box here. So again, I'm looking and changing the perspective of my work plane so I can see where I'm headed with this to make sure that my cylinder is actually sitting on top of my box and it's not floating in space. Now, again, if I want to, I can highlight everything, so now I can move all this as one piece, or I can just select part of my cylinder. Now, if you notice, okay, as I'm clicking on my cylinder here, I can actually change the color. So what I want you to do is to try changing the color of a shape. So once I click on it, there's a little orange bubble here that pops up. And if you click on that, I can change the shape, change the color of the shape that I'm working with. So I do want you to try changing the colors of things. The other thing I want you to do is to try deleting stuff. So if you notice, there is a little garbage can that is up here, that up on the left hand side. So if I bring, let's do this again because I know that happened kind of quickly. If I bring a sphere into, let's make it a little bit bigger here. If I bring my sphere, it's kind of like an oval, like a flat disc I got going on here. See, I really don't like that, okay, and I don't want it to be in here. I can go ahead, there's a garbage can up here. My dog Dottie is saying hi to all of you guys. So I'm bringing that that flat cylinder, or excuse me, that flat sphere that I have, I'm bringing that up over the top, and I don't really like what I have going on, and I decide that I want to delete it. So up on the upper left-hand side, there is a garbage can. So if I click on that garbage can, I can actually delete that off of my screen, okay? So the other thing I want you to do too, and I'm actually going to delete this box because I want to show you some other tips. The other thing I want you to learn is how to duplicate a shape. Like say I've got something and it's going and I think, oh man, this is really cool. I've just made, the greatest roof I've ever made in my entire life. And I'm going to make it, this brown color here, and it looks totally awesome. I can duplicate this. Up on the upper left-hand side, there is a duplicator. I click on that, and then I can copy it with that clipboard there. So now I have 2 of these. So let me show you that again. Up on the upper left-hand side corner, there is 2 pieces of paper. I click on that, and then I click the clipboard next to it, and it creates a second one. So now I can create 2 of these. Okay, so say you're making something and you really like how it's going and you want to duplicate it, go ahead and use that function. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to delete 2 of these off of here. And let me highlight this one. I'm going to delete this one off as well. The other thing too that I want to show you is that when you add something in here into the workspace, and again, I'm going to blow it up a little bit here, there are these like little curved arrows that are up at the top. This is to rotate your shape. Like if I click on this, notice that I can turn my shape on an axis like this. Do you see that? Okay, so that might be beneficial to you if you are wanting to rotate something or add something that is on an angle. You might want to put those together. But again, the biggest thing is with TinkerCAD students is that you just need to play. All right, try dragging and dropping. Try moving those pieces into the workspace to play with them. Focus on those black squares for right now. The other thing too is I really recommend that you use a stylus. All right, it's much easier to do this with a stylus than with your finger. And the other thing too is keep grabbing that box up there, that front left top box, to rotate your picture, to rotate your space, to see what it looks like from different angles. I didn't even notice that red box was falling underneath. So, and maybe I want it there, maybe I don't want it there, but at the same time I probably don't. So I might want to grab that. Look at, I got 2 highlighted again. Just deselect and then reselect on there, and I might want to move that up. I bet you it's probably floating now. So if I move this, do you see how it's hovering over? So you really do need to kind of move this around to see where it is 3-dimensionally in your workspace. All right. So what I did for you is I created you a checklist of things I want you to do with stacking things, trying to delete things, make sure that you're rotating shapes, looking at them from a different angle, changing the color and things like that. But today is going to be just a play day, and I can't wait to see, what you guys come up with. Just try experimenting and having fun today. Take care. And Dottie over here, my puppy, says goodbye to you guys too. Bye, guys. All right, 4th grade, we are hopping over to Seesaw next. Once you are done tinkering in TinkerCAD, here is your checklist. Go ahead and once you've completed each of these tasks, just go ahead and make a check or an X in each of the green boxes. Go through each one of these that are in the video with duplicating, with moving the shapes into the work plane, stacking them together, and so on. On page 2, there are more steps. These, again, were also all listed in the video with deleting and rotating the angles of the shapes and everything. On page 3, this is just a check-in. Let us know. How's it going with TinkerCAD? Are you good? Is it so-so? Or do you need help? Let us know, and we are happy to help you. And on page 4, if you created any actual designs and not just tinkered, please go ahead. You guys can upload those to page 4, and we'd love to see them. All right, happy tinkering.